So it's so it's the summer of 2018, and I'm all about the 2016 summer retro, which includes vaporwave and it includes nostalgia for the Trump campaign, for all of the red pilling that was done, both for me and for many Americans. Many people around the world got red pilled very heavily in 2016. And one thing that Trump ran on was having a wall. And as we know, Milo Yiannopoulos, his drag persona or whatever alternate character he has, is called Ivana Wall. Ivana Wall. I want a wall. And so we are finally coming to head with this. And it's amazing how this has transformed the news cycle. And one thing that I became aware of in 2016, that red pill summer, is that this concept of gaslighting, that we are only shown facts that support certain things to push certain agendas. And I find that very disheartening, and I see that more and more closely as I see the media response to certain things that Trump has affected and policies that he is enforcing. Now, without getting into all of that, digging into specific policies and so on, I did get into a kind of a semantic spat with one of my, I guess, Covfefe friends, someone from a right-wing page where I get a lot of my, information, where I share a lot of my memes. But anyway, I was saying that this Time magazine cover with Donald Trump on it is completely terrible. Not because it's a faked image. Of course, anyone looking at it can realize that it's a fake image. And of course, Time magazine, unfortunately, had to choose the just image of a crying child. And of course, any crying child can be photogenic in a certain way. It can make anyone look bad, especially when you have a completely unrelated image of Donald Trump glowering down at the kid, which is placed there. And people were saying, okay, well, no one expects this to be real. No one expects this to be actually what happened. Trump didn't glower down at some border child. But the fact is, the child used in the picture was not a refugee, was not taken from their parents. Just happened to be at the right, or I guess the wrong place at the wrong time. And anyway, everyone jumps on that, like, well, he's enforcing this rule that says separate parents from their children. Well, where does this rule come from? Actually, this rule is the brainchild of either Obama or the Clintons, I think. But the idea is that this law has been in place for a long time, which says that immigrants and their children, their alleged children, should be separated. And Obama is the first to enforce it. As the Daily Wire told us, reminding us of a quote of Abraham Lincoln, the best way to get an unjust law changed is to enforce it. And that's exactly what Trump is doing. And these images of the detention facilities, Dave Cullen on Computing Forever, one of my favorite channels, this Irish YouTuber, went through and talked about, showed exactly what was happening at these refugee camps. And the kids are being treated well, I guess, in the sense that any public treatment of children is okay. I speak from a certain perspective as a child from a poor family. I always enjoyed the school lunches, and to see the types of breakfast, these steak and eggs that these kids are getting at these facilities made me think, okay, it's not so bad. But we have to understand these kids. We have no way of documenting them. They are from places that may not even have this documentation. They can claim to be the children of certain people, and we can accept that. Or we can say that, okay, well, regardless of the criminal status of the parent, we should keep them together, which it doesn't make any sense at all. And I'll tell you another story. Like when I was a teenager, my dad went to jail. And we weren't notified, me and my brother, we weren't even notified about it. We were kind of confused as to where he was. But the fact is, when he was in jail, that's part of how the law system works. If your parent commits a crime, you can't just go to the jail and see them and be with them. That's how parents are separated from their children. And a lot of these children are part of, they're brought there under cartels. I heard a shocking figure that 80% of the girls brought over across the border are actually raped, sexually assaulted. And so it's just a bad system. And to pin that on Trump just because he's the first one enforcing that is really unfair, because this has been the rule in place since Obama and the Clintons and before then. The fact is, and without looking at specific legal policies, what's happening now is that Trump is just beginning to enforce this rule, and he did just sign an executive order saying that children can't be removed from their parents. However, the fact is, we have a very fair vetting system for the United States, and if you can't prove that it's your child, and if you don't speak English, and if you aren't willing to accept the culture, then why should we let you in? And I say that as someone, I've lived in 7 countries now, and so I'm used to this whole visa process thing. I know what a pain in the ass it really is to get all of your documents together. And actually, it's been amazing going on right-wing pages lately and seeing how many Hispanic voters are in support of Trump's current border policy and in support of putting up that wall. So even though the media keeps raining down on him, as they often do, I think that Trump is just emerging better and better because of this. And this is just kind of I don't know if it's midterm or if it's seasonal or what's going on. This hope for a blue wave when really it looks like Trump is doing the right thing. And just a week ago, everyone was celebrating. Even the CNN that hates him was celebrating his triumph in North Korea. And yet we have to look at the southern border, and it's just been sad for me because I have a lot of friends, smart friends, liberal friends, LGBT, they're new age, or they're academic types who just default to the left wing, as I once did. And to see them sharing these memes as if Trump is the next Hitler and all this God winning, all this comparison to Hitler, it really drives me insane, and I'm just sick of hearing about it. And so again, without looking at specific policies, without looking at specific laws, let's just admit what's going on, and that is that Trump is enforcing rules that were already there to begin with, and the media is attacking him in this opportunistic, seasonal kind of way. And I'm not at all impressed by it, and I don't think it hurts his odds at all, and I am frankly just sick of this news cycle, and I am ready for the next thing. So anyway, that's my talk on immigration, and believe me, in America, we've got it easy. Try living in other countries, see what you go through in terms of medical exams and all kinds of vetting, having to produce legit degrees and criminal background checks and all that. It's no fun, and I'm going through it right now in Vietnam, in fact, and it's just something that you can't take for granted, and we have to be very scrupulous. We have to be very cautious about who we let in our country, because as Trump smartly pointed out, Europe has had a tremendous crisis with their immigrants. And so we don't want to follow in what's happening to them. We don't want to follow in their footsteps. We certainly do not want that crime to infest our cities. And we don't believe that anyone is simply entitled to be in America. And of course, it's different. We can look at refugees, we can look at asylum, but these immigrants are not asylum seekers in many cases. Many of them are criminals. Some of them are rapists, as the Great White Hope, the POTUS, once put it, which was kind of a racist quote, but come on. Anyway, I support Trump's immigration policy, and I'm willing to stand by that. And it's, you're all going to forget about it anyway. It's all anyone's talking about right now, but this is just a seasonal thing. This is gaslighting. This is what the media wants you to see, what the media wants you to talk about. So, next week we'll be talking about something else. As far as anything else goes, that's my political rant for the week. As always, may your path in life be free. Please like and subscribe and share. I'm looking for new subscribers, new people. And I have a lot to say about everything here on Jinkajabo. Peace.